In any case, my professor, after I'd gone through painting, the usual painting thing which I got to not dislike but tired of, then I went to fresco painting. There were no flowers there. And then to prints, imagine in black and white. I wasn't thinking of flowers. So he liked my works and said, yes, you can work with me in my atelier in the school, within the School of Fine Arts. So one day he says, yes, you do these things very well, the dramatic things. I would like you to do me a flower. I said, a flower? Eh, you know, no. He said, yes, do it your own way. Do it your own way. So I did, and I've not stopped doing flowers from then on. Flowers were, I found a bit, what would you say, a bit too frilly, a bit too sweet, a bit too this, a bit too that, thinking it would always be glaioli and you know, and a vase, and okay, it turns out to be flowers can be as sexy and fleshy and everything else. Oh, okay. So when you think of them as reproductive organs, then you've got it all made, you know? It's the artistic side that interests me more than botanical acts. Okay, maybe they are not really true to nature, but it is. I have studied what can be called, because when you draw so much, then what you understand is the, let's call it architecture, that holds a flower up, the leaves up. Well, we were talking about flowers and how different it can be along the way. Okay, so technically, of course, this was based, a very important step was I discovered it when doing an exhibition I had of 1,000 works, a retrospective. So then I had to see things next to and the chronology. Then I realized that this substituted for all the grotesque faces, because it's a head, but florally expressed. I'm so absolutely fascinated and really in love with color. I've gone slowly into it because my first paintings were quite dark, a result of all the trauma of the war, and it shows in the subjects, of course. And then slowly, but very slowly, got into color. And now I'm crazy about it, crazy. So this is an interesting, in 4 examples, very different ways of feeling vegetation, feeling plants, and all that, with dominant blue as a background, and then these red spots here that are flowers, and then the green. Well, generally they're about primary colors now, and I enjoy having them clashing together. So the obvious joy of flowers is color in general, but basically you've got all this in black and white too. The architecture, the movement, it can be Baroque in so many ways, and I think my vegetation is very Baroque. So there's this freedom, yet within a square, within it just doesn't fly off the handle. So the more I do flowers, the more I feel this freedom, yet restrained freedom. Oh, the moon, of course. There is the question of the moon, very often asked. Just one little answer would be too short, but the moon allows me 3 or 4 things. One is a hypnotic center, because this is so busy, and I need it, really need it. I need a quiet, and also it gives you, if you see the moon, it means that the sky is clear, okay? And also it gives you scale, it gives you distance, and it gives you a, what do you call it, a silent point there, like that.
Of course, if you are looking closely at the flora, you will never see such kind of flora in the Philippines. So it must have been a flower of his imagination, or a flower that had a reference in actuality, but actually was funneled through his creative process and came out looking not as any kind of flower anymore, but a flower by Sanso.
And so we have the serial work, let us say, of the coral, like this one, underwater corals. And then there is the phase that he will do one by one. He individually, then he takes it out. So his stroke are really these particular phases, the way he does the coral, the way he does the landscape, his architectural form, and yeah, this kind of spongy and linear and crosswise. I think that was that what he has, that is very individual.
Let's face it, sometimes Juby can get engrossed in flowers, he can get engrossed in subjects that seem to forever be there. But I can see his point. The point that I see there is every time that he finishes a Brittany landscape, he asks himself, is this the best I can do of this Brittany landscape that I see? So he tries another version. So he does a flower painting, and also the same question applies. Is this the best flower painting that I can do? So he keeps on doing it. It's not so much that he's repeating himself, but he just keeps on asking himself, is this the best I can do?
All kinds of flowers, standing, sitting, round, you name it. Every possible, I won't say trick, but vision of flowers has followed me all over for at least 25, 30 years. Still going on, stronger and stronger.